Good evening and welcome to Total Sim Sports exclusive coverage of Thursday night's European Sprint Pure Driving School Series, coming to you live from Imola. This is week 10 of the championship. cannot believe how fast it's gone. I've got Seb Bosher-Williams alongside me, and I've got Sean Cranleigh-Swash in the production booth behind me, virtually. And yeah, we're looking for another exciting race here. As you can see, we're just 2.5 minutes away from the end of qualifying. Let's introduce Seb in. Seb, how are you doing? How are you feeling for tonight?
I'm very excited. Good evening, Chris. Good evening to everybody watching at home. Yes, it's going to be an amazing race tonight. We're here at the iconic Imola track, and Chris, we saw great racing at Silverstone last week, didn't we? With the LMP2 field so close, and we're just expecting more of it tonight.
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, I went into work Friday morning with having nearly lost my voice because it was such an exciting race the night before, and it turns out a pint of water isn't enough to keep me going throughout one race. So let's hope for more of the same tonight. I think Imola is a circuit that is, I think, really prime for good racing, and it's interesting looking at the numbers of drivers we've got in each split. It's a very strong GTE field in particular. I mean, Karim Heathers at 7k iRating. That's no slouch at all. But yeah, sort of just thinking of Imola as a multi-class circuit, Seb, where do you think the main action zones are going to be tonight?
I think we're going to see the most action into turn 2, or turn 1 as I think we'll be calling it. But there is officially, as you can see, the number 10 car going around the official turn 1 into the Tamburelli chicane. I think we're going to see a lot of action into turn 1, a lot of cars trying to lap each other, and cars in the same class trying to get past each other. The run out of Tosa up the hill is also going to be a great place for the LMP1 to overtake with their hybrid system. Watch out for that during the race. And I think the Variante Alta, the chicane at the midpoint of the track just before Rivazza, I think will also be a huge overtaking opportunity for all classes. I think it's going to be difficult for the prototypes. Huge curves there. It's really difficult for these prototypes to run on the curve. So I think they're going to really struggle to make a clean overtake. So it's going to be really difficult for them to make the overtake. But that's why we love multi-class racing. On board with Dave Lloyd at the moment, the number 26 car, going for his fastest lap, coming through the Acqua Minerale section at the moment, trying not to get the off track on the exit, up towards the Variante Alta. This quick chicane, high bumps. He's going to brake just a little bit before the 50-meter board, get the nose turned in, which he does, all very calm and collected through there. And down towards the Rivazza, this final two left-handers. So crucial, Chris, aren't they? So difficult as well with the downhill braking zone.
Yeah, I personally find it's one of the most noticeable hill braking zones available in iRacing, the world's premier motorsport simulator. I've always found, and I'm more of F3 and Formula Renault, more my wheelhouse, but you do feel it in the LMP2 as well. Just going down that hill, you do really have to pay attention to the fact that your braking zones are going to be different. And Seb, would you like to take us through the starting grid for tonight?
So Simon Cowlatz, your pole sitter once again, 0.05 of a second ahead of Neil de Backer in second. Jake Carey is in third with Ollie Cole right behind him in fourth. Roberto Edouard is fifth with Jim de Backer in sixth. Marco Pavona is seventh with Jan Korbs in eighth. Callum Smith is ninth with Dave Lloyd and Neil Stratton not setting a time in qualifying. And that is a nice size LMP1 grid, and that's going to just provide so much good racing. Slightly smaller LMP2 field. Fraser Williamson is your pole sitter with Eduardo Leo right behind him, 2/10 off, with Brian Peters in third. The number 3 car of Lowell is fourth with Fabio Rueda in fifth. James Ebram is sixth. Antonio is seventh. 1.1 seconds off the pace, but still within, just over a second away, so watch out for him. He's still really in with the shout of the win today. Alex Rassi is 8th with Kudek Thomas in 9th, not setting a time. Indoor GTE field, Karim Havertz takes the pole position with 4/10 separating him from the number 13 Ruben Loeto car. Nicolas Peculiar is 3rd with Johan Martin Meyer in 4th. Alan Elbert is 5th with Robert Lancaster 6th. Soto is 7th with Souza starting alongside him in 8th. Matteo is 9th with Remo in 10th, and Christian starts 11th. And that rounds out your GTE field. And Chris, what I noticed there is that we have as many LMP1s as we have GTEs, and that's for a while.
Yeah, well, I think it's the nature of iRacing's way it splits. I think we've got the entire LMP1 field in here tonight, including 3 Porsches, which will be interesting. Jan Korbs qualified in 8th, is the leader of the 3. I expect we'll see him carving his way through the field as per usual. But I was thinking, like, compared this to Silverstone last week, where we had, I believe it was 17 LMP2s, and it's only 9 today. But if you look at car number 17, Kuder Thomas, he's our weakest LMP2 driver. He's got 3,785 iRating. So he's rapid. So this is going to be an incredibly strong LMP2 field in particular. And I just think you compare this to the tracks that it's sandwiched between on the schedule. So it was Silverstone last week and it's Monza next week. This is a much more technical, much trickier circuit to lap on. So I think those GTEs are going to be praying for good behaviour. As it looks like we're about to go green.
The car is in. The leader warms up his tyres. And we are about to get ready for this 1 hour of Imola. There's an LMP1 in the background with his engine blown up there. We are already one LMP1 down. Dave Lloyd is out. But Simon Cowlitz takes the lead and takes the flag. He is underway. Good start from everybody in the LMP1s. So far, down towards the first bit braking zone of the circuit. All clean so far. This is the LMP2 field coming down. 3 wide they are into Tamburello chicane, but they all managed to get through. Oh, there's contact. The number 3 car is off. That's AJ. He is round and out. Still managing to keep the engine running, but he has lost a lot of positions. The GTE field looking all very calm so far. There is our only non-Porsche car. It's very nice to see Douglas there in the Ferrari. Always nice to see a little bit of a change-up in the GTE field. Back to your LMP1 leader going through the middle part of the section towards a very tricky braking zone here. So easy to lock a brake, but Simon gets through that all well. And Chris, that was a great start there. Really clean, apart from the leading pair in LMP2.
Yeah, I think that's an inevitability into Tamburello on lap 1. I mean, it is a tricky circuit to overtake on, so I can understand aggression, especially on lap 1 when you're so bunched up together. But it's almost impossible to get through Tamburello 2 wide without losing out. And AJ Lowell is the one that's been very unfortunate tonight, but I believe Kerem Havers in the number 2 leading the GTE field will be very grateful that he got going again before they caught up, because we've seen in the past so many times incidents where a leading field has lost a driver. Oh, and we have now lost Marco Pavona as well, and that as well isn't going to impact on the GTEs, which is a huge relief again, that at least one field can have a reasonably incident-free first lap, although it looks like Robert Lancaster has had an incident in GTEs. He has dropped 5 places to the back of the GTE field.
That is true, yeah. Robert Lancaster not had the greatest of starts, but you make a really interesting point. Of course, these incidents that happen in other classes do affect, the lower down classes, especially at the start of the race. And you're right, the GTE is very lucky there to not get involved in the LMP2 action, as we see. Talking of LMP2 action, this is James Ebram trying to catch up to Eduardo Leo in the number 10 car. Coming through Tosa corner onto the back straight now. Can he make a move as we come towards Piratella? I don't think he'll be able to do it at the moment. Just a little bit too far back, but I'm sure he's really wanting. No, he's going to dive down the inside. Just not enough room there. But all on the exit. James Ebram manages just to get the run. I think Leo just went a little bit wide there, which opened the door for James, but unable to really capitalise on that at the moment as they come up towards the Variante Alta chicane. Now he's under pressure from Fabio there in the number 5 car, flashing his lights away. Really wanting to get past that number 7 car, but it's all status quo at the moment as we come through the Variante Alta down towards the Ravazza chicane. Once again, the number 5 car flashing his lights, almost pleading for the driver to get out of the way. Clearly not happy, or maybe just trying to distract. We've seen Chris drivers in the past use their lights to try and distract the drivers, and I think that might have been the case there. Just to add to the drama of this little battle, we've got Marco Pavona trying to get past after his little spin, as they're always going to go 3 wide. Very smartly, Marco backs out there. So he's actually going to lose the position there. 3 wide as they come down towards Tamburello. I think there's a little bit of contact there, but round the outside goes James Ebram. Great move by him, gets very squirrely on exit, almost collides with Eduardo there, but they just managed to avoid collision. They're still side by side as they come down towards the Variante Villeneuve, but well done, James Ebram. That was a great move, Chris.
Really was, and I don't think we can overstate just how talented this LMP2 field is. To be able to follow this closely through some of these braking zones, I mean, last lap going three in a line through Acqua Minerale, that is such a difficult technical braking zone because you're braking quite shallow quite early, because it's you can't just go full beans on the brakes as you're coming around the first part of it here. because you will just lock up and go wide into the second part and get a slowdown. And to have to do that while also keeping Pavona on your radar, because of course he's gone off, he doesn't want to risk his race too much because there's still 55 minutes to go, and to then get a move done on top of it, this is really supreme racecraft from the LMP2 field so far.
It is. It's exactly what we love to see from this. Is we see Jake Carey here, the number 16 car, in third place at the moment, being hunted down by Ollie Cole in fourth, Jim DeBacker in fifth, and we've got this sort of train developing behind Jake Carey here, as we see the Neil DeBacker and Simon Cowlotz there just getting away from him. 3 seconds the gap now. So Carey just unable to keep the pace of the leading gang at the moment. We just looked back from that great sounding Audi R18 there, and it's one of my favourite cars in iRacing. So good to see it popular here, and as Chris was mentioning earlier, we're a little bit lucky with the splits. And let's have a look into turn one. So this is, what's this? This is the number 5 car. So this is Eduardo Leo, the number 10 car. Let's have a watch of him. I think he's going to make a little bit of contact here. So the number 5 car of Fabio Rauer there, and just going to go side by side. He's going to hit the bumps. A little bit of contact there, helped round, so nearly hitting the number 5 car as he spins round, Chris, and that was lucky there for Fabio to not get involved in that.
Yeah, just to boost my own ego, this is exactly why I yeeted myself off the track on Tuesday at Nürburgring in the Jeans Bowl F3 League, because if you sort of commit to that corner where it's just not appropriate to go too wide, that's what happens. And sometimes it's better to just live to fight another day, but perhaps there's a reason why my lack of aggression is why I languish down the field, and you see drivers like AJ Alawal often winning races. I mean, he's 6K iRacing. He's obviously done a lot of incredible racing to get there, so far be it from me to tell him how to drive, but that's my viewpoint on Tamburello anyway. It's not really, if you're going for the overtake, you need to be ahead before the braking zone, I would say. Otherwise, we see what just happened there happen again. But it looks like we've got quite a good battle brewing here in the GTEs.
Indeed. Second place, Ruben trying to catch the leader of Karim Halvitz there at the moment. We've got a Porsche LMP1 trying to get past them behind them. This is the leading. This is the first time that the LMP1s will be coming through the field. That was Neil Stratton there getting past. Anyway, so as we have a look as they come into the Ravatta complex, and Ruben's lost a little bit of time here. It's always frustrating as a GTE driver trying to get past, trying to overtake somebody, and then all of a sudden you've got all of these GTEs. You can see it from Jake Carey's perspective at the moment. That Porsche just goes a little bit wide, gives Jake Carey the opportunity just to hit that magic boost button, and off he goes. And
yeah, it's really incredible when you're on board with Carey there, just to see the speed differential, because you've got to remember these GTEs, they're not slow machines. They're the quickest GT cars, modern GT cars on the service, and they just look like absolute mugs compared to the LMP1 when it's on full boost. But this is sort of the dilemma the LMP1s are going to have, is that they want to be doing their overtaking in straight lines, but you look at the track map there, you've got the main straight. And in terms of long straights, that's kind of it. I mean, this next straight here should come up past Tuster. We specifically said we weren't going to call it that. I apologise. And this is kind of it for the whole circuit in terms of conveniently long straights to get through. But you can't just be sat behind a GTE for half a lap. You're going to lose out so much time. And we've seen so many weeks before, Simon Cowell. There goes Ollie.
Coming off the track, he was flashing his lights. He was angry at the one of the GTEs there, and he just got his braking all wrong across the curve, and that's going to be huge amounts of damage on the underside of Ollie Cole's car. These curves are so dangerous, and these cars are so sensitive to damage on the underfloor of their cars, and will almost certainly have quite a lot of damage. Disaster for Cole. You're just saying how you have to sort of be careful in traffic, but you can't be too careful. You have to sort of make some moves, Chris, and that's a little bit of a move too far. So this is a great opportunity for Jake Carey now, although he does have Jim DeBacker right on the back of him. Jim DeBacker up 2 places from where he started. Jan Korbs as well up 3 places from where he started, having wanting to have a little bit of this as well. We head down towards the first chicane once again, Tamburello corner. Jan Korbs in the Porsche trying to overtake the Roberto up ahead. Jan Korbs in the Porsche. Very nice to see the Porsches out once again. We saw 1 or 2 at Silverstone, and it is really nice to have the diversity in the LMP1 field. As we come around Tosa corner now, up towards Piratella. Can Jan make a move into Piratella, I think is a little bit too far back, and I said that about the LP2s just a few laps ago, and that wasn't quite true. So these drivers are really good at making these overtakes, and we've seen it time and time again, and I'm sure we're going to see it time and time again in this race. Head towards the very anti-Alta now. Really tricky chicane. No way through at the moment. They're 3 or 4 in the line at the moment as we head back towards the battle here. This is for 4th place. The number 5 car under pressure from the number 14 car at the moment. Antonio there trying to get past, going a little bit deep there into the Tamburello chicane. Really trying to push the driver ahead to try and sort of force a mistake. We're going to have a very quick look at the moment as Alan Elbert has lost a few places in the GTE field. So let's have a look and see what's gone on here. Coming down towards, so this is Aqua Minerale. This is where we saw Ollie Cole go off earlier, and it's a real power slide from him. Just a little bit too quick into the corner there, Chris, and it's so easily done here, isn't it?
It's nice that when we say that it's a tricky braking point, that pays off with 2 very spectacular incidents within the first 10 minutes going around there. But I don't think we can overstate just how difficult Aqua Minerale is to brake. And well, you can brake nice and conservatively, but they're also trying to get fast lap times here. That's the challenge, is to get around there quickly. As Eduard, that's coming through Tamburello. That is. We're lucky, really, to see no one get collected in that, and he did the right thing, really, of just taking it easy. But not a happy bunny there, flashing his lights. But it looks like he may have also braked a little bit too deep to make the corner anyway. But he's now got Jan Curbs behind him for company. That's well, we saw in the previous lap, Curbs is being very patient. He's not, he didn't lunge in for a move at Villeneuve, but he does. We've seen it before. He knows how to overtake. It looks like he's shaping up for a move here potentially.
It's defending there of Eduardo there, but down into the braking zone. Jan Curbs just had to lift off a little bit there as we come around the final corner to complete another lap. And you're right there. It was Neil Stratton there, the yellow Porsche, getting sort of involved. They're lapping Neil, and I think there's a little bit of a confusion there. Head down towards the Varianti Tamburello corner once again. Jan Curbs just too far back on this occasion, but you're right, Chris. He has been trying to make the move, and we've seen the moves that he's been making. He's weaving around the track. He's sort of always trying to force the number 8 car off the track, and that's quite interesting. Oh, and he goes a little bit wide there. He's just going to save it. I think the four-wheel drive nature of these cars saved him there. Of course, the front wheels just they gained the use of the hybrid, especially on acceleration. I think that's saved him. He was all a quiver there, Chris, and that's not what you want to see. And Jan is pushing really hard at the moment.
The thing, I think you almost take for granted that these guys are actually pushing it to their absolute limit to be able to put these kind of lap times in. I mean, Neil de Backer's just set, I believe, the fastest lap of the race so far. Well, his fastest lap of a 22.7. That is absolutely rapid round Imola. And if you can look on the track map there, he's got traffic now as well. The LMP1s are approaching the LMP2s. That's going to present quite an interesting challenge for them. I think this is a race for the LMP1s to be grateful that there are only 8 LMP2s to worry about, because can you imagine trying to do this with the 17 of Silverstone last week? It would be a no-go.
Over down the inside those rollers, trying to get past. Who's that? That's Alex Rassi there. Has to take to the pass and go through. Exactly what you were saying, Chris. About sometimes if you're side by side into the corner, you should just bail across and live to fight another day. And Alex Rassi certainly done that, but he's lost, I think, 2 or 3 positions. So disaster for him. Christian here, the number 23 car, chasing down the number 25 car in the Porsche. All Porsches in this little battle at the moment. There's a line of 4 of them. And we've seen GT Racing, we've seen how good the racing can be in GT3. Oh, Christian's locked up. Sorry, no, that's not Christian. That's Mateo there. He's locked up, gone across the chicane there, and he's going to have a slowdown. He's going to have to give back the time gain. Can he stay ahead of his rival? No, he cannot. He's down. Him. Oh, no, I think he was trying to sort of gain the time, and that's Christian is off the track, and he's going to lose 1, 2, 3 positions. He's exclaiming on the radio, sort of in dismay of what's happened, and that's disaster there for Christian. Mateo now, I think he's been overtaken by Robert Lancaster there. He's going to try and get past Robert Lancaster. He still had to serve his slowdown. They're now at 3, line of stern as we head down towards the Varianti Tamburello. Can he do anything at the moment? That's Alan Albert there in the yellow, in the Porsche in the background there. So Can you make a move? Down the inside goes the number 3 car. Just can't get past the GTE. We're getting all the classes on track at the moment. This is the number 5 car trying to get past KJ. Oh, they make a little bit of touch there. They make a little bit of contact of the LMP2 in the background, flashing his lights on the going, what are you doing? And craziness out on the track on minute 45 of this 1 hour race. Fabio Rauer there trying to get past AJ Lawal there, who's made quite a great comeback, Chris. He was down the order the last time I looked, and he's up to 4th place.
Yeah, he's doing very well there. But if I'm Antonino Seguro in the 14 just behind this, I'm licking my lips looking at just how spicy this battle's getting. I would personally be thinking, well, save a bit of fuel, let these guys kill each other. There's no need to get involved because they're not going to survive if that's how hard they're racing just 15 minutes in here. I do think more than many races in this series, this is the race to be conservative at, because we've already seen in 15 minutes probably more incidents than we saw in an hour of Silverstone, just because it's such a tight technical track. And that's not going to get any better. The drivers are going to get tired physically and mentally. And I think, yeah, as we see another incident there, that's Lancaster this time is now pretty much blameless victim, as it seems all the GTs are being this evening. It's been an instant-packed racing. We're only a quarter of the way through.
We are indeed. I think that was... I can't quite see who that was on my timing screen, but yeah, I think that was one of the back marker LMP1s there, forcing Robert Lancaster completely off the track, and disaster for him. Really has not been the greatest start to Lancaster's race, and it's all action on the circuit at the moment. We're going to rejoin this battle here. They're going to be 3 wide, almost 4 wide. Kurt's almost getting taken out there. Just manages to get past this battle for 4th place in the LMP2 fields. Kurt's, of course, in his own battle. He goes down the inside of the yellow Porsche, he's very wide. He's off the track. He's done a Lewis Hamilton. He's hit the wall, and he's reset back to the track. That was Neil Stratton. I think he was also the one that hit Robert Lancaster, so he's not had a great couple of laps there for Neil Stratton, but he is back to the pits as we rejoin this battle once again. AJ Lawal trying to defend from Rauer right behind him. There's a Porsche off the track. Oh no! And he's hit into him. Oh, the Porsche rejoining caught AJ off guard, and he hit the grass in disaster once again. Oh, there's contact at the chicane. The number 14 car's been hit, and he goes across the grass. Chris, it's all happening at the moment. It's absolute carnage. Oh, and that's Jim DeBacker. Jim DeBacker's got damage. Look at the front of his car. He's got a lot of damage there, so he's been involved in an incident as well. And Chris, you're going to have to take over, because I think I'm going to lose my voice.
Saw a little bit of this 2 seasons ago when we were at Suzuka and Spa, where this 20 minutes in, where all 3 classes end up mixing up together, and there's not much Jim DeBacker could have done there. As the only Ferrari of Douglas Sauser in the 24, he's lost it coming through the chicane under braking there. Again, so easily done there. I mean, every corner is difficult here really, which is why we're seeing the problems we're seeing as we Variante Alta there. But, when we get to this stage where all 3 classes are together, we've just seen, 4 or 5 incidents within the span of half a lap in 30 seconds? It's going to get like this again. It's going to get like this again in about 20 more minutes when they all come together like this. Again, as Seguro, I wonder if he's got damage from the contact earlier, because that is not a happy-looking LMP2 under braking right now. And he's got these GTEs to contend with as well. I don't think it's going to calm down anytime soon.
For our sake, I really hope it does. Yes, Seguro doing a great job to gather all that oversteer into the braking zone for Tosa and just surviving. Ollie Cole's also got damage. Of course, he went over the curbs here at the Aqua Minerale. These squad names are a lot harder to say than I'm used to. I do apologise for stuttering over them. But Ollie Cole's got damage. He's still driving through the field in 7th at the moment. He's 10 seconds off Jim DeBacker in 6th. And Jim DeBacker, we have got damage. He's got visible damage after that contact with the Ferrari. So can he gain that time as Jim DeBacker now comes into the pits, and we'll see if he's going to take the damage and go out. His brother, on the other hand, Neil DeBacker, is in 2nd and less than a second behind Simon Cowlatz. iRacing 31 cars off. The number 31 car off and rejoining very dangerously there. Callum Smith in that number 31 Porsche 919, and almost took out Neil DeBacker, almost took out his chance at going for the win, but they just all survived at the moment. So Neil de Backer 6 tenths behind his competitor Cowlotz in the number 11 car as we head down towards the Variante Alto once again. Let's see who is a little bit more comfortable through there. You have to say Neil de Backer just looked a lot more able to use the curbs there, feeling a lot more confident in the car at the moment. It's always difficult as the car being chased down. More pressure is on you, especially if you're the race leader. And Neil de Backer's in a really good position at the moment. His lap times have been quick, so we'll see what can happen. And this is what happened to Callum Smith earlier on. So he's spun it coming into Tosa, got on the grass. Oh! And if I'm not mistaken, Chris, I heard a little bit of a contact sound there.
It sounded like there was a little bit of a brush there. It could easily have been a netcode contact, perhaps. But you can just see that Callum Smith has perhaps a bit of an experience with the car there, because just accelerating a little bit too heavily onto the grass. And I mean, we've all been there before, where you're desperate to get back on track. But if you just put the power down too much on that grass, it's going to spin you. And we are lucky to still have a battle for the lead here in the LMP1s, because that could so easily have been race ending for Neil de Backer. Now, we've had a few times in the last few races where Neil has been behind the lead battle with Cowlotz, and it was Curbs last week, I believe. He's yet to get the better of Cowlotz on track, but this does feel like he's got a good chance here, because Cowlotz normally pulls away during traffic. He's not managed to do that today. If anything, de Backer had a better run through the traffic than Cowlotz did, because that gap was up to about 2 or 3 seconds 10 minutes ago. It's come right down now, and we'll see if he can manage that again as we come back up to the back of the GTEs. And you can see on the track map, they've actually got reasonable clear air compared to, say, the LMP1, LMP2 field right now. So we'll have to see if is it worth fighting. Albert and Kakino seem to think it is, at the very least.
They do indeed. Albert getting the better of Kakino there as we come towards the turn 2. Great livery there from Alan Albert. Very good racing indeed, and squeezed his rival to the outside, but all's fair in love and war, they say, and that was certainly a great move from him. I've just clocked that AJ Lawal, one of the LMP2s caught up in that crash on the exit of Aquamina Rally, has come into the pits, so he's got a little bit more damage. This is well, let's see what's happened to him. Oh, and he's hit the grass on the exit of the Tamburelli chicane and into the wall, and I do believe that might just be race ending for AJ, and such disappointment for him, Chris. He's had such a good race. You know, he's climbed through the fields after his earlier incidents, and then had sort of 2 incidents that aren't really his fault. And this is Christian, the number 23 car. We saw him racing earlier on, and that looks very strange. I think he's actually had a little bit of a spin coming out of the same corner, Variante Tamburelli there. And I think he's had a little bit of damage and reset to the pits as well, Chris.
I think he had an incident on the previous lap as well. I did see him on the timing tower, stopped at the first corner for quite a while. I do wonder, I don't know if it was just struggling with the tyres being so hot there, but he did look a bit like he might have been crabbing as well. And I just think maybe it's not worth, once you're already 30, 40 seconds down on your nearest competitor, I think sometimes, especially this early into the race, you just think, is it actually worth the stress to just lap rounds in a really hectic race, knowing that you're still going to lose iRating, you're not going to pick up that many championship points? Sometimes it's better just to retire the car and enjoy a slightly less stressful evening, which potentially Ollie Cole has done the same. He's in the pits, and well, actually no, I believe he's gone on his way back out. So this is the other thing as well. If you have picked up a bit of damage in the start of the race, you can run an alternate pit strategy, because we're into the pit window for all 3 cars now, and look who's got ahead of Simon Cowlotz.
Yeah, Hans Neil de Backer, he is in the lead. He is your new race leader. Cowlotz there, losing the advantage, and we can have a look and see what's happened. Now they're side by side as we come towards Tosa there. So I think Neil de Backer manages to get past, and this is Cowlotz trying to get back at him. He can't really do it. They're still side by side as they come up towards the hill, towards the Piratella, but Neil de Backer just pulls ahead, and that's a great move there from Neil de Backer, and he's taken the lead. And let's see now, can Neil de Backer run away with this? Can he gap Simon Cowlotz? Or will Cowlotz be able to gain, to be able to follow him, to stay within his slipstream? And only time will tell. But you have to say, at the moment, Neil de Backer really pulling a gap up to 7 tenths there at the moment. But just to add a little bit more intrigue into this battle, there's some GTEs up ahead as we see the view from Simon Cowlotz there. Neil de Backer making a great move there, dive down the inside of the Ferrari just to put that car between him and his rival. And that's what we've seen Cowlotz do before, Chris, you know, sort of make these moves that sort of put a car in between him and his rival, and it just gains you so much time.
if you can hit the traffic at the right time, it can really, really pay off. I mean, you saw Cowlarts there. He had to wait for the second part there of the Ravazzas, just because, I mean, you can't really go down the inside of a GT there. The GT wouldn't be expecting it. It could have been race ending. He's lucky to still be within a second. But again, if you look at that GTE field, they're in the green on the track map on the top right-hand corner of the screen there for you. No one's really battling right now, which means you've got a little bit less to worry about. You can afford, if you're De Backer and Cowlarts, you can take a slightly more aggressive line to get past them, because you know you're not interfering with a direct battle for the GTE field. So this is really paying off for De Backer so far. He's just going to have to hope that he hits each bit of traffic at the right place. It looks like he's going to do that here with the next GTE. I believe that is Pequea, and he's just going to have 2 more GTEs to get through after this, and jobs are good for another round of lapping. And if they time it right, they might even be able to get their pit window in, that they don't have to lap the GTEs another time.
Having a look, that's very insightful, Chris. And yeah, I think we're going to see pit strategy coming into the fray. Now, I noticed while you were talking there that Jan Korps has come into the pit, so he has pitted. So is Simon Cowlarts there, just popped up on our timing screens. But we're looking at Havat, our number 2 car, our race leader in GTE, and looks like a little bit of damage there to the front of that car, and that could just be a simple curb strike. It could be something a little bit more adventurous there for Karim there. So it's not what you want to see as a race leader, but he has got a 5.7 second gap, which is, I'm sure, what you want to see from, this is your number 2 car. Ruben, in the number 13 car, coming through the Villeneuve chicane at the moment towards the Tosa hairpin. I've done it as well, Chris. That's one apiece now.
That's the trouble. The thing is, for Havers, he may well have damage, but he still was the fastest car by nearly half a second in the GTE field last lap around. However, having said that, Leitao in second in the number 13, his fastest lap is quicker. So Leitao may well have the overall pace, but he's not able to apply it consistency, whether or not that's down to traffic or down to him just pushing a bit too hard. That damage that Havers may well have, it doesn't seem to be affecting him right now. And you can, if you really want to sort of know just how quickly the leaders are lapping in the GTE field, look at the gap they've got to the midfield in GTE. They're more than 30 seconds clear of Kakino in 8th, which is a massive gap for less than halfway through the race. So, you know, our slowest drivers in the field tonight are still some of the elite drivers of iRacing. It really puts into context just how good the top drivers in these races that we watch actually are. They are just absolutely incredible machines.
They certainly are, and talking about incredible machines, Fabio Rauer there trying to get past James Ebram, and Fabio's been involved in so many great battles throughout this race so far, and he's lining up another one. This is for a podium position. At the moment, 3rd place, a 10-second gap between Ebram and Peters in 2nd. So it's still not out of the question that, you know, if Rauer can get past James in a good amount of time, he can catch Peters and get 2nd, maybe even 1st. There's none that we haven't mentioned as well is Fraser Williamson. We'll have a quick mention of him. He's out in the lead at the moment, the number 1 car at the moment, and we haven't really spoken about him much this race because he's just done exactly what you need to do as a leader. He's got out the front, he's led all the laps, he's driven really consistently, not got involved in any dramas. And I'm sure that, you know, if he's thinking that this race has been really quiet and boring, and we're sat in the commentary box going, been quite exciting so far. So great job from Fraser Williamson at the moment, and he's got 32 minutes left of racing to hold on to that lead. Talking of holding on to that lead as well, James Ebram there, the gap between him and Rauer going down, 3/10 separating them now. Rauer trying to go around him into the first chicane, but he can't quite do it at the moment. He'll get the run out towards the Villeneuve chicane. Can he pull to the inside? He's looking about it, he's thinking about it, but just tucks in behind the number 7 car as they come through the second part of the Villeneuve chicane up towards Tosa now. No door, no opportunity there, no open door left for Rauer at the moment, but they head down towards the Piratella now. Turn 9, can Fabio do anything? Try and get past. He can brake so much later than the number 7 car at the moment. He looks so much quicker. He's going to get the run out. I thought they were going to be side by side as they head down toward Acre Minerale. Ibram's really racing now. He's really sort of starting to feel the pressure from the number 5 car behind him. The lights, I'm sure the flashing lights will not help him one bit. It's all designed to just sort of distract you a little bit more. He manages to get it all all slowed down for the Variante Alta chicane. So all good as we come down towards Ravazza now. Will we see anybody have a little bit of a look? No, we won't. Ravazza 1, all fine and dandy. Ravazza 2, all as well. This is it. We're going to have the slipstream from the number 5 car as he heads down towards turn 1 once again. The Tamburello chicane, a great overtaking opportunity on the circuit. Rauer goes to the outside, goes to the inside. Sorry, still staying on the inside. Contact again. I can't believe they didn't make contact. I didn't crash even, but the number 7 car goes across the curbs there. They're still side by side as they head towards the exit. Somehow they're all heading in one direction only as we head down towards the Villeneuve chicane. The number 7 car still just stays ahead, and Fabio is going to have to try and make that move again. And Chris, that was so close to disaster.
It really was, but it's a testament to the skill of the drivers. They've kept it on the track. Number 5 there, Rauer, not happy, flashing his lights. And the trouble with them doing this, they've lost 3 seconds in the last lap to the leader of LMP2. They were only 10 seconds behind. That's not an insurmountable gap. And sometimes you just think, well, maybe it's not worth fighting too heavily. If I'm the guy in second of these two, and you can see how much he's sliding around. It was like that coming out of Toaster on the previous lap as well. He's really sliding that car on exit. I'd pit now, get some clean air, put some fast laps in, and stop costing yourself so much time pointlessly battling. Because that last lap and a half has cost them now nearly 4 seconds on Williamson. And I'm not saying they definitely catch him, but you've got to back yourself to think that's a gap that if anything happens to Williamson, puts you in range of the win. So, or even Peters in second. So if I'm one of these two, I'd be diving into the pit lane now rather than just constantly fighting here. Because again, you look at that track map, there's a lot of clear air and they're sort of 40 seconds behind them. They may well not know that because they're concentrating on racing. But it's going to happen again, Seb.
It is. It's almost like NASCAR racing. We've got bump drafting there from Rauer. Still can't find a way past that number 7 car. Ibram doing a really, really good job of defending that inside line. Fabio into the big contact, and they both go across the chicane. Will they be able to keep it out of the wall? They will. They will both have slowdowns, and somehow they're in the same positions that they started the lap, considering they've done about half the quarters they should have done as they come out of Tosa. Great racing, great action, I think, from the pair. And we can have a look at the replay again. So the number 7 car goes towards the inside. The number 5 car also wants that piece of track in. 2 into 1 really does not go, Chris.
No, I think that was an inevitability, really. And I just think sometimes you need to have your strategy hat on and not your race driver hat. And James Ibram just giving Rauer a bit of a telling off on voice chat, which I think is reasonably well deserved, to be honest, because Ibram's not really done anything wrong here. The only thing you could really say is he is defending quite hard, but that's his right to. He's got track position. I just think maybe for one of their sakes, one of them needs to blink first and pit, because they're wasting so much time with each other here. Although something's happened to Williamson, because Peters, you can see on the timing tower there, he's within a second, and these guys, despite their excursions, they've not lost any time. So I think something's happened to Williamson. Maybe he just caught traffic a bit. And looking on the track map, it may well be that, but this is the thing, we thought Williamson was home and dry. Maybe that's a bit optimistic, but yeah, certainly not in any jeopardy. And suddenly he's got Peters for company, and that's going to be a tricky thing to manage as well.
It is round 3 of this battle once again. They're bump drafting once again, trying to push the number 7 car off, and they are playing a dangerous game with netcode. They're rolling the dice, and it's so far paying off for them. That's the number 29 car. No, the 29 car, the Audi, was the one that went very deep into Tamburello on this lap. There's just the car that's behind the number 5 car. But it's like NASCAR, Chris, when you see sort of the dump and run schemes, you sort of nudge the car. I think Rauer's trying to do that to James at the moment.
Yeah, it's a bit easier to do on an oval in a NASCAR. I would be very upset if I was in an LMP2 and I had that hound. You can see a GT in the background. That's our lone Ferrari, who is having quite an adventurous race in the end. He's not having a good time of it, unfortunately. I don't know if he was involved in an incident with Kakino there, but Kakino's got track position, so no harm, no foul if you're Kakino, I suppose.
That's the great thing about iRacing is that no penalties applied, just a no fault contact system. So both, if there has been contact, they'll both get a 4x in that'll be the end of it. Williamson extended his gap back up to 5.5 seconds. So something has certainly happened. We can have a look here at Pecoraro, the number 21 car coming through the Villeneuve chicane, hits the curb. That's way too much curb, and you're going to be on a one-way ticket to that wall. Very impressive. He managed to get that car into reverse before he bounced off the wall there. So not too much time lost. He's perfected the art of crashing there. Hasn't perfected the art of rejoining the track though. Almost took out Neil de Backer there, and that was a very close call for our race leader. But he is underway once again. Those tyre barriers are great, aren't they, Chris? You can, as long as you sort of slow down enough, there's not too much damage from them. Oh, and that's LMP2 going very deep into Tosa there.
Yeah, and one of the nice things about sim racing is we don't have to worry about stopping the race to repair these barriers. So, in some ways, we've got an edge on real life racing here on the world's premier motorsport simulator. But one thing to look out for in the LMP1 is Simon Cowlart. He's already pitted. He pitted a few laps ago. Neil de Backer, he's still out there, so it'd be interesting to see what happens when the pit strategy come in as we go to a replay here of Rawa Ibram.
Rawa Ibram, let's see what's going to happen. I think Ibram's just made a mistake, hit the grass under braking, and he has conceded that position. So for all of the rubbing and racing that they've done, it was a mistake that ultimately allowed Rawa to get past him. So, and we think that Ibram might have even got a slowdown for that as well, sort of the double trouble there. He's quite far off, and he's even got a GTE there blocking the pit lane, so we can't even come into the pits and get some new tyres. So very interesting strategy. We'll have to see if James can catch up. Sorry, not change tyres, change to grab some more fuel, of course. So you don't take tyres in a sprint race unless you're on a very unique strategy, Chris. I don't think we're going to see any of those strategies today.
No, I mean, I've overdriven the car before and it felt like I should have done, but no, it's never ever going to be worth it in an hour-long race. But yeah, we've got a good battle here developing between Albert and Kakino.
Have indeed. So let's see some more GTE battles. So Kakino trying to catch down Albert at the moment, coming through the Villeneuve chicane towards Tosa. There's an LMP1 behind them. I think that's Jan Korbs in the background there. He's going to try and duck towards the inside, hit the boost as quick as he can, and just get past these as quick as possible. Heading down towards the braking zone of the Piratella now. All looking good so far, all clean. We've seen drivers making mistakes under pressure. Nothing like that happening at the moment, but drivers certainly feeling the pressure of this race so far. Through the Acqua Minerale chicane complex, I think, now as we head towards the very anti-Alta chicane. Kakino looking a lot quicker, under braking at the moment, but that's allowed Albert to get the better run out of the corner. So it seems like Kakino is quicker into the corner, but can he gain that speed or at least be as quick as Albert on the exit? Any time will tell. In your LMP2 field, the leaders first, second, third, fourth, and fifth are all in the pit lanes at the moment, and Kuda Thomas could take the race lead if he's quick enough. I think he's a little bit too far back. So yeah, Williamson just coming out of the pits at the moment, closely followed by Peters as we still watch this battle unfolding for 6th place in the GTE field as we head down towards Variante Tamburello once again. And Kakino looked a little bit slow through the chicane at the moment, just not finding his rhythm. So important around here, and I think Williamson's gained quite the advantage on Peters in that pit stop exchange there. So a really good race for Williamson so far, as Neil de Backer, your overall race leader, also comes into the pits, and somehow it's contact. So somehow Ibram's managed to get past Rawa, and just like before, they're having a little bit of contact. So this is what happened. So that's the first incident.
But this...
So Ibram's jumped him in the pits. Has he taken less fuel here, Chris, do you think?
Well, he was stopped for only a second less, but they would have been that close that it made all the difference. But this is now not going to be great for Ibram's blood pressure, because we saw how racy Rawa was behind him just before the pit lane. And now he's got another 21 minutes of this again. And you can see, looking at how Neil de Backer's come out of the pit lane, it looks like the alternate strategy has worked for him. He's actually got, I believe, a 5-second gap over Cowlart's as it stands. Now, of course, that is not really that much in the scheme of 22 minutes left of the race. Jan Curbs as well in third. Slight interest, but I think really let's have a look at Jake Carey in fourth is really his main battle left over. But yeah, the running the normal length for Neil de Backer seems to have worked out. Simon Cowlart's pitting early, less so because their pit lane times were pretty much identical. So it's just that the case of de Backer's been either faster or luckier on track, really.
Really interesting. Yeah, it's the second week in a row that we've seen the alternate strategy not quite paying off where, we think it might be. I think it just goes to show that, especially around Imola, the track just isn't really long enough to find a prolonged period of free air. This is Kuder Thomas, the number 17 car, chasing down Seguro at the moment. He pulls towards the outside. He's going to go around, try to go around the outside of Tamburello. Will he make it stick? No, the number 14 car breaks that a little bit later, gets it all slowed down, hits the apex very nicely, even a little bit too much there, but all's good so far. We head towards this battle again. James Ibram still ahead of Rauer. This battle, I think, I hope will go down to the wire. This is for your final podium position in the LMP2 category, so all to play for. And they are about 14 seconds behind Williamson, and Peters is catching Williamson, sort of spying that Peters is looking a little bit quicker. So as the race develops with 20 minutes to go, we could be seeing two battles for all the positions on the podium. So going to be really interesting there, Chris, as we see the number, I think that's the number 22 car. That is the number 22 Audi getting it all wrong in the chicane there, and Ollie Cole there almost hitting into the back. Oh, where's our Rauer?
Rauer's gone off somewhere by the looks of it. He's still racing, so something's obviously happened here as we're coming up to Variante Outer, I think that is. Yep, and yeah, I think all of us who've raced in Imola have done that at some point. You're eager to get going. You just put the power down a little bit too early. The car is still unsettled coming off the second curb of Variante Outer, and it just goes round. And it feels like it's happening in slow motion, and it's the most frustrating thing in the world. You're just a complete passenger, and I think James Ibram will feel like good has won out here because he didn't do a huge amount wrong, except for when he went off earlier in that close racing with Rauer. Rauer was, I say, just on the right side of the line, but he was very close on the line to being the villain there. And Ibram will feel like justice has finally been served, and he can now enjoy a relatively pressure-free last 18 minutes of the race. And unfortunately, with 10 seconds back to Peters, probably now not enough time to look at catching that. But we've got a nice battle developing. 3 here, 14 of Seguro and 17 of Thomas are right behind. So Rauer's not going to have a nice, relaxing end to the race by the looks of it.
Certainly isn't, and he's got to refocus really quickly. I'm sure he was very upset that he lost that position in the pit stop, and he'd be really upset that Ferrari there hasn't gone out of the way. Doesn't have any obligation to, but I know as a prototype driver, you sort of really want the drivers just to sort of move out of the way, especially when you're in a battle as hotly contested as this. Rauer's still in fourth at the moment, so not lost a position, just time on track with Seguro there. Antonio Seguro trying to catch up the number 14. We have the GTEs coming into the pits at the moment. We'll keep you abreast of any changes in the field as we continue to watch this battle. The number 14 car versus the number 5 car as we head down towards the Tamburello chicane once again. And this is Neil de Backer just sort of passing everybody, trying to get past this battle as quickly as possible. And this is going to be quite the advantage for Rauer, because I think Neil de Backer is going to head down the inside in towards turn 1, which he is indeed. So that's given Rauer quite the advantage there. Gap is just over a second. Chris, as we've got about 17 minutes to go, why don't you run us through the order so far?
Yeah, it's a testament to how mental this race has been. This has really been our first opportunity to have a run through. But here we have our LMP1 leader, Neil de Backer, looking for what I think would be his maiden win on the Thursday evenings. He's got Simon Cowlart's just 2.5 seconds behind him. They were on alternate pitch strategies. Cowlart's is chasing him down now. Be interesting to see what happens here in the last 15 minutes. You can see Cowlart's dealing with a GTE quite expertly there. Third step on our podium is currently Jan Curbs. He's dived through the field, made 5 places so far, and he's just going to be trying to keep Jake Carey in fourth at arm's length. Jake Carey, who did qualify in third, so he'll be a bit disappointed to be out of the podium places. And then our remaining 3 runners in the LMP1 field, we've got Roberto Eduard in 5th, Jim de Backer, who has had a relatively event-filled race in 6th. And speaking of event-filled races, Ollie Cole is our last remaining LMP1 in 7th. We saw obviously that big off Aqua Minerale earlier, and he's still lapping pretty quickly considering the damage he must have. We've unfortunately also lost Pavona, Smith, Stratton and Lloyd from the LMP1 field, and we can switch here to the LMP2. Fraser Williamson, he's having pretty calm race, all things considered. Brian Peters in 2nd, he's 5 seconds back, has at times looked like he can challenge, but just hasn't been able to put out the lap times when needed. But he can be pretty happy with a 2nd, having qualified in 3rd. And 3rd step of the podium is currently occupied by James Ebram. We saw earlier his battle with Rauer. He has dealt with that now. He's got an 8-second cushion. Rauer is, as we've said, pulling away. He's still in 4th. He's still made a position, so it's not like this is a poor race for him. And Antonino Segro and Kuder Thomas are fighting over 5th position. There are 2 remaining LMP2 runners. We've lost Lawal, Rassi and Leo. They are the only other LMP2 runners tonight, and they are long since gone. Story of Havers' race has been there is no story. He's just very, very quick, and you can see there 17-second gap over Leitao in 2nd. If nothing silly happens, this is his race to lose, and I really hope I haven't cursed you there, Havers. As we say, Leitao is in 2nd. He's got a little bit of a cushion to Martin Meyer, who I don't think we've mentioned once in this race. Sometimes it's nice just to be on the podium and have no incidents. He has made a position. He's overtaken Nicolas Piquet, who is in 4th, and he has got Soto for company behind, but not really a full battle yet. Soto in 5th. He's gained 2 places from his start, but again, it's been reasonably quiet in GTE. It's really just been a case of avoiding the madness from the prototypes. Alan Elbert, he is in 6th. He is reasonably clear of anyone. He's got Kakino in 7th, just 3 seconds behind. And then Robert Lancaster, who's actually, I think, done quite well to recover, because we've seen him be the victim of a couple of incidents that there was nothing he could have really done about. He's down in 8th. He is the last remaining lead lap GTE, but we've still got Salza and Grossenbacher supposedly running. Salza 2 laps down, Grossenbacher 5 laps down. And we've only actually lost Christian Borngraver from GTEs. He is 11th and last for them. He made it to nearly 13 laps before having to retire. So probably more retirements than we've seen in a while, Seb, especially considering it's a smaller grid. But I think considering the amount of action we've seen, if anything, I would say it's fewer retirements than I expected.
I think you're right. I think I agree on both points. It certainly is quite a high rate of attrition in this race so far. But yeah, I think this track is really conducive to accidents. You've got no room for error, and even if you sort of lock up and go deep into a chicane, that another track it would be fine. You can really damage your car. Talking of that, Douglas Salza here, what's he going to do? He's just lost the rear end coming into the Variante Villeneuve there, locked the brakes to try and sort of get that car under control, which he has, to his credit, done very well there, and he comes back on track, and he was already 2 laps down before the incident, and he hasn't lost any positions after that. So it's sort of one just to chalk up to a little bit of a slide there. So quite interesting, but not done any damage to him. So we just have to reset, and off he goes again. Kuder Thomas, I just can't get over it. You were going through the field, Chris, and we're talking about 5th and 6th, and the LMP2's battling, but that's actually the last place on track at the moment. It's crazy.
Yeah, I think it can sometimes mess with your mind when you end up in slightly odd situations here. This is an incredibly high strength of field for the LMP2s, and I think it takes a mentally very strong person to sort of, if you're in Thomas's position right now, you think, actually no, I'm in 6th in a really strong LMP2 field. That's excellent, because the flip side way of looking at that is I'm in last and I've not really had much to do. Am I actually that good? But he's fantastic. And it's just sometimes when you end up with these slightly funky fields on slightly difficult circuits to race on, you can end up, having a slightly uneventful race, or at least an unsatisfying race. But to only be 30 seconds off the lead, considering how quickly Fraser Williamson has been driving, I don't wish to sound patronising, but this is excellent driving from everyone in the LMP2 field. If we discount all of the incidents we've seen with the other classes, the actual raw pace has been pretty fantastic from everyone. And I think sometimes it just takes a little bit of mental strength to say, actually, no, these are the good things I've done in this race. It doesn't matter that I've finished technically last, because it's still only 5 places off the lead.
You're right, and it's really interesting sort of how the top split races are so much about mental strength and being able to sort of be in the right mind frame to race, because it can be the difference between having a good race and feeling like you've accomplished something and not. I mean, look at the top of your screen there. The LMP2 strength of field is 5k iRacing. I mean, that's just insane. And Kuder Thomas here, 3.7k, which is, I mean, quicker than any of us here in the commentary box. So great job by everybody. You're right, Chris. It's been such a great race to watch, and if you sort of discard the incidents that you can chalk up for it to be Monza, it's been some really good pace and good racing out there. Your leader, Kerem Havertz there, the number 2 car, not really done much at the moment. He's got about an 18-second gap to Latau there. He could stop in a sort of have a ham sandwich, couldn't he? It's always a nice position to be in when you're 18 seconds up ahead. It's almost you're sort of wishing for the time just to clock down a little bit. You're kind of over the race, but that's when the mistakes can creep in. And if you don't keep on pushing, you don't keep on pushing yourself just to break at the same points or even a little bit later than you did the lap before, mistakes can creep in so easily. Damon Hill famously had that incident at Monza at the chicane when, for the first time in all the race, he just relaxed his mind a little bit. So easy to do, especially around here, around Imola. So I'm sure Havertz will be really just trying to nurse the car home, but just keep within the rhythm. Rhythm is so important with these cars. 10 minutes to go in your race. We are 5/6 of the way through this race with 1/6 to go. 10 minutes left of your race. Simon Cowlot's catching Neil de Backer a little bit. That gap is slowly coming down, Chris, and could we be on to see a battle in the final 10 minutes of this race?
Yeah, this is going to be a very interesting battle, and I think Neil de Backer's heart rate is going to be steadily increasing higher and higher, because of all the drivers you wouldn't want to have a second and a half behind you, it is I believe championship leader Simon Cowlot's, who is just racking up the points like an absolute machine. He's such a quick driver, and I know we always say his main strength is getting through traffic quickly, but he's actually pretty damn quick even without the traffic, and he's a pretty decent hand at overtaking as well. But this isn't to take away from the fact that Neil de Backer's the one that has pulled the overtake today. He's currently in the lead. I think, without wishing to pick too many sides, I'm kind of rooting for Neil, because it would be nice to see someone dethrone Simon for once, and he's done an incredible job so far, but that gap is getting smaller and smaller. He's going to be within draft range soon. I know draft isn't necessarily as important because of the boost that these LMP ones have got, but he's going to have to drive the socks off these cars, and he's going to have to hope he's got enough off-tracks in the bank that he can afford to take these corners as wide as he has done there, and a little bit of traffic to contend with here too.
Neil de Backer got held up there by one of the GTEs, and this is disaster for Neil de Backer. Simon right on the back of him now. The gap down to half a second as we head towards the final 8 minutes of this race. Nothing the GTE could do there, but it's all part of multi-class racing. Neil de Backer knows this. It's how he managed to get the lead from Simon, but it's how he might end up losing it as we head through the Rivazza complex and across the line again to finish another wonderful lap here at Imola, down towards Variante Tamburello at the moment. Neil de Backer doesn't feel the need to defend at the moment. The gap's still half a second. Simon Cowlot's there, not getting in the draft, just sort of letting his fellow racer know that he's there and willing to send it down the inside. Simon Cowlot's has been so good in traffic, and that's a GTE coming into the pits. Nicolas Pequia there coming into the pit, so not sure what's happened to that. He's lost a position due to that, and I think he's just about to have lose another position as well. Has he got? Looks like he's got a drive-through there, so disaster for Nicholas there. Looks like he's had a drive-through for too many incidents, so he'll have a few more incident points to play with now. Neil de Backer, another one that might be struggling with incidents. Simon Cowlot's as well. They've all been quite racy up the front. Nicolas Pequia here coming out right behind Kakanau there, so this battle will be developing. Is Pequia going to try and go to the move immediately? He's going to show his nose down the inside into the Variante Villeneuve, and I think Kakanau just let him through there, and not really his fight. So good for Pequia. He's at least at one position as we head back to our battle for the lead Cowlot's very close behind him now. 2 tenths separating the top two. 1 tenth, 1.5 tenths now. DeBacker going to defend towards the inside, force Carlos to go around the outside, which he does. They head side by side into the braking zone. DeBacker just holding on to that position at the moment. Carlos, though, will have the better exits. They head down towards the Variante Villeneuve. Can Carlos do anything about it at the moment? And I think he's used up all of his boost for this lap, so it's just going to be a bit of a reset. And we will go once again. I think turn 1 is looking like the best place to overtake. This is P3 in LMP2 here. GTE, sorry. So Lato's had contact there with the LMP1. Do apologise, it's clearly a GTE. And he's lost his 3rd place. That's his competitor there, Johan Martin Meyer, going through into 2nd place. Ruben Lueto now down into 3rd as we head back towards our LMP1 battle. Neil DeBacker defending from Simon Cowlitz once again into the Variante Alta as we head down towards Ravazza 1. And Chris, 5 minutes left to go in the race. It's you've got to start making moves right about now, haven't you?
Yeah, I think you do. You can only sit behind for so long. DeBacker is going to have to defend for his life every time we come into turn 1, every time we come down the hill at the end of the lap. Those are the main 2 overtaking opportunities. You can see he's gone all the way over to the right of the screen, left of the track. And I think we're going to see a repeat of the previous lap. Unless Simon Cowlitz can be very, very brave on the brakes around the outside, I don't think we're going to see the move done unless he's already alongside into the braking zone there. So he might just have to be a bit clever with his boost for a lap or 2, as she's mentioned. And of course, if you look at the track map, we are going to catch up with some of that traffic with 4.5 minutes left to go, because that is at least 3 more laps, probably 4 laps, because we're already on 1 now. And yeah, there's still a lot to go here. And I mean, this is not to discount. These 2 could have a crash, and Jan Kurbs could just sail on through, laughing his head off, because he's only 12 seconds down the road, and it has happened before.
It has indeed, yes, you're right. We'll have to see what happens as we head towards the final 4 minutes of this race. Carlot's really catching up to Neil DeBacker, and you're right. I think he's going to have to be very smart with his boost burn. I think he's got to sort of surprise DeBacker by not using his boost on the main straight, but sort of using it all up as they head towards the Variante Villeneuve, turn 5 and 6. But this Porsche is giving a huge opportunity to Cowlitz now. It's delayed DeBacker getting onto the power there. They're both absolutely hitting their boost, hitting their maximum top speed. DeBacker still just able to keep a little bit more top speed. Cowlitz tries to have a look around the outside, makes it to defend towards the inside of the track. This is Carlott's move now. Can he get the better run out of the corner? Yes, he can. They're side by side. Oh, and they almost touch. Carlotz just has to back out of there. Neil DeBacker stays in the lead at the moment, but that was very close between our 2 leaders there, Chris.
Yep, slight bit of hesitation from Cowlitz there. He blinked first, I think, really. I don't know how deliberate it was from DeBacker, but that ever so slight pulling out off the racing line, just to put that little bit of doubt in Cowlitz's mind. If that was deliberate, that's fantastically good psychological warfare. I do like when it works. It is really good. And Jim DeBacker's got in the pits, probably to give Neil all his energy, willing him across the line here. It'd be interesting to see if he does come out in front of the pair of them. Are we going to see some very naughty sibling team order tactics here? It's probably another drive-through, I'd imagine. And actually, think about it, these drivers, they've done LMP1s, they've done 40 laps. All this is, here we go, Seb.
Number 17 car almost made contact with Neil DeBacker. That could have been race ending for him. Carlos flashing his lights frantically. Get out of the way! Get out of the way! Oh, the LMP2 is off the track. The number 17 car there of Thomas, and I think that off track has given him a drive-through, so he's now going to go through the pits once again, and that's allowed DeBacker that crucial 8 tenths, and even crucially the number 14 car to get in between the 2. Oh, and I thought there was going to be a little bit more contact there. Cowlitz really trying now to Cowlitz trying to sort of not lose at any time. He's really trying to push at the moment. 1 minute 50 to go. Still got some GTEs up ahead that can play a part in this story. This race is most certainly not over yet, as we have 1 minute 40 to go in this race. Cowlitz is second. Neil DeBacker is your race leader. Your other race leaders are Frederick Williamson and Havertz in the GTE, who's done a great job. He's 20 seconds ahead of Martin Meyer in second place. As we talk back about this battle again, Carlot's certainly quicker. He's back down to half a second behind De Backer once again. So Carlot's definitely has the pace to catch up to De Backer, but can he overtake De Backer on the final lap of the race as we head into the Ravazza complex once more? We have one more time through this section as we come across the line, and this will be the final lap of the race. We will watch out for the white flag just to confirm, but I'm pretty sure this will be a white flag. White flag, 1 lap to go at the moment. Carlot's trying to chase De Backer, but crucially, De Backer has got that LMP2 in the middle of this battle here. So I think this could be the battle. Could be the battle done here, Chris, and that's a little bit of a letdown for us as spectators.
I think Rauer has just decided the lead of the race for us there. I mean, he doesn't have to get all the way off the line, but you think with 1 lap to go, he's not in any battles. He could have just stepped out completely and allowed these two to fight for it. But maybe I'm discounting Carlos a little bit too early. He is still catching De Backer. There is quite a bit of traffic up ahead, and I believe those, if it's 2 GTEs, I believe they're fighting. So it's this. I mean, we've got less than half a lap to go, and it's just Carlos goes wide.
Off the track. I thought this was his opportunity now. There are 3 cars of traffic at the moment. And Carlos is going to get stuck behind 2 cars. The number 7 car overtakes the number 20 car. Neil De Backer is just running away with it at the moment. But any mistake from De Backer into the final corner, this is his race at the moment. Carlos was gaining, and I thought he was going to do. Oh, did De Backer go a little bit wide? I think he did, but it doesn't matter. He's going to come across the line. He's going to win his first race in the ESS split. Well done. A Thursday race even. Congratulations, Neil De Backer. Great race by you. Great race by Simon Cowlott, as well as we wait for Jan Korps to come across the line in 3rd place. And Cowlott's already got out of his car, clearly not happy after that final lap. But that's sometimes just racing, Chris.
Yeah, I mean that was pretty incredible racing. Really, it's nice when we get such big battles for the lead. It's the first time we've really had a race-long battle for the lead in LMP1. Normally, it's either Jan Korps or Simon Cowlott just whistling their way off into the distance. It's nice to get a different winner. It's nice that they've really earned it as well. And I think after the chaos we had around minute 20, it calmed down into quite a good race, and it now sounds like it's kicking off in LMP2. Just a sort of post-race debrief. I'm gonna have to do that before I get too distracted and air too much dirty laundry. It's let the drivers work that out. It's a tricky track, Seb. I think they did well to keep it on track for the most part.
I think they did. I think everybody that finished the race, everybody that raced so cleanly, I think has done a great job, and it's certainly something that I don't think I could have achieved, especially not at the pace that these drivers are doing. Here is your GTE winner. Krim Havertz comes across the line once again. GTE leader sort of does an extra lap to everybody. He is the last driver to cross the line, and what a race! What a race, Chris. We've mentioned the LMP1 battle, but the LMP2 battle was just as good. And even the GTEs, we didn't see much of them, but it was just such a great battle. And why don't you take us through our race results?
So there we go, a well-earned win for Neil De Backer. We believe it's his first of the broadcast split series that we've done. Simon Cowlott takes home a very hard-fought 2nd place. It feels weird to say he'll be disappointed a 2nd because it's still an excellent position to finish. But there he is, Jan Korps. He top Porsche, he finished 3rd. He's up 5 positions from his starting place. Jake Carey, pretty quiet race, but solid. He finishes 4th. Same can be said for Roberto Edouard in 5th, with Ollie Cole and Jim De Backer both finishing on the lead lap, with Marco Pavona, Callum Smith, Neil Stratton and Dave Lloyd all unable to finish. But you can see there, 43 laps. It's a lot of laps have to do with Imola. But they at least 6 or 7 of them did manage it. And then the LMP2s, another very well-earned win for Fraser Williamson, who has taken the win by, I believe it was 10 seconds in the end. So Brian Peters, he's another one. He can be pretty happy with that. 2nd place, he's done well. Makes it look like they lapped the whole field. They didn't. It's just where De Backer and Cowlotz had got to. But James Ebram, he is 3rd step of the podium. Had a really good fight with Fabio Rauer. Very aggressive fight. And I think the good defending of Ibram won out over the I think assertive, but just maybe on the okay side of unfair to fair for Fabio Rauer, who brings it home in fourth and did have a little bit of a hand in deciding the win of LMP1 as well. Antonino Segro, who had a relatively action-packed race, brings it home in fifth, which is a good result for him. And Kudair Thomas, the final remaining LMP2 that finished the race in sixth, with AJ Lawal, Alex Rassi, and Eduardo Leo, none of whom managed to finish in our relatively small 9-car LMP2 field. And then in the GTEs, an absolutely dominant win by Karim Hevers, about 30 seconds clear of Johan Martin Meyer, who just managed to get ahead of Leitao after the latter made a mistake near the end of the race to come home second and third, respectively. Alejandro Soto, he finishes fourth with Alan Albert just behind him. Nicolas Paquet and Mathieu Kakino are sixth and seventh, respectively, with Robert Lancaster, the last of our lead lap GTEs. Remo Grossenbacher, Douglas Souza, Christian Bowengrabber, none of whom managed to finish, unfortunately. Douglas Souza, the only, well, I guess he can take home the mantle of lead Ferrari and lead non-Porsche. It's always nice to see a little bit of variety in the GTE field. Douglas providing that for us tonight. Seb, that was, I'm going to need to lie down now. That was quite the race.
Indeed, and you were saying that you managed to commentate on Silverstone with only a pint of water. I did not bring any fluid, so I don't think I'm going to have much of a voice tomorrow. And what a race it was. Simon Cowlotz is your championship leader, still the championship leader ahead of Jan Korbs, Jim De Backer and Neil De Backer in fourth place. Jake Kerry is fifth with Luke Santos in sixth. Dominic Engelich, didn't see him today, in seventh with Daniele Pizzo in eighth. Pascal Neles in ninth with Robert Eduardo in 10th. He is up 3 positions after he competed in today's race. Fraser Williamson takes the championship lead with 50 points. Owen Carroll behind him, 5 points separating them. Jus Braumeister in third place. He's lost his second point today. He didn't make it to top split today. Jus was racing, but didn't quite, such as was the level of our LMP2 field, didn't manage to make the top split, so unlucky for him. James Ibram in fourth with Stuart Bickley in fifth. Rui Quiros in sixth place with Michael Romanidis in seventh. Nick Burke in eighth with Claudio Greco in ninth. And Luca Pape rounding out your top 10 in the LMP2 championship standings. Towards your GTE championship standings, Karim Havitz up 11 places to take the championship lead, with Jerome Charvet being nudged down a position into second place. Roman van der Leeuwen is third with Jorge Diaz in fourth. Said Bouchard is fifth with Ruben Loeto in sixth place. Marco Ricci, who we didn't see today, in seventh with Jean-Luc Denayer in eighth place. Sven Haas is ninth, and Philip Mayer rounds out your top 10 in the GTE overall championship standings. And Chris, that was a great race. And last week you put me on the spot to describe that race in one word. And so I'm simply going to put the same question to you today. How would you describe that race in one word?
Carnage. I'm thinking in particular minute 20, but yeah, carnage.
I would go with that. It was we're seeing the replays now, and even with this racing, there's cars spinning in the background, and if that doesn't sum up this racing, this race, I don't quite know what does. It was a great race. Some unfortunate incidents in the LMP2 field, but great racing nevertheless. And it's always such a pleasure, Chris, isn't it, to see drivers of this caliber take to such a special track like Imola.
Yeah, we really are spoiled, and it was a 5k strength of field in the LMP2 tonight in particular. But yeah, so we've got some interesting racing coming up for you. So next Thursday we'll be at Monza, so it's a very different circuit, but not that far to travel from Imola. Probably the closest we can get on iRacing, I think. So it'll be interesting to see, going from what I imagine has been some very high downforce setups to the complete opposite next week. So that'll be same time, same place next Thursday. We are also going to be back on Tuesday with the next round of the Jeans Bowl F3 League on the Total Sim Sport channel. That's going to be coming to you from Sebring, which is also coincidentally where European Sprint is going for week 12. So I hope you like Sebring, and at least as a viewer, you won't have to deal with the incredible bumps there. and we're only a month away from the endurance race there as well. So we'll hopefully see a big grid there in 2 weeks' time. But I believe that's everything from Seb and myself and producer Sean. Thank you all for watching. We'll see you next time out.